What's up, everybody? Today I want to go over with you something else that I used to believe in when I first started personal training that I no longer believe in. And that is, I used to think it was okay to just stretch a lot, stretch muscles that aren't hurt, stretch muscles that don't need to be stretched. I thought that you really couldn't overdo it with stretching. So now I believe that yes, you can. So I think that stretching is overrated, and I think that it's definitely not utilized correctly. At the same time, I do want to say that I think that stretching is underrated. I think that stretching is a great thing that can prevent injury. I think that it can really help alleviate pain. So on one hand, I'm going to say that it's underrated, but now I just want to talk about how I think it's overrated, because I used to think that there's no way that stretching could be overrated. And I think most people kind of think the way I used to, because I hear all the time, yeah, I just want to stretch. I need to stretch more. I need to stretch more. But what about maybe you need to stretch less? Okay, so here's the problem. Here are some of the problems with stretching too much. If you stretch too much, what happens is it's not just the muscle. It's the muscle, the tendons. You have the fascia, which is kind of like saran wrap. But anyway, you stretch all that out. And the more everything gets stretched out, the less stable the joint is. The less stable the joint is, the higher chance you have of injury. This is something that I observed in the gym with people in the gym and my clients. I noticed that people that are really flexible, they tended to get injured more often. Conversely, you have people who are very inflexible. Those people tend to get injured as well. So there's kind of like this sweet spot between being flexible but not being too flexible. And that's kind of where you want to be, okay? Another problem with being too flexible is your power output and your strength goes down. I'm speaking in general terms here. For the most part, all my videos are like that. This is just general terms. But if you want to, let's say, bench press more or jump higher, if you stretch out too much, you're going to decrease your power output. You're going to decrease your strength. So there are cons to stretching too much. Another thing that I see is people kind of have this idea that they can't do a workout without stretching because they're going to get hurt. Or when they're done working out, they have to go through a stretching routine. Otherwise, it's going to mess them up. And I do think there's validity to that to a certain degree, but I do think it's way overrated. I think it's okay. Hey, if you're going to take off running, like you might be in a situation where you need to take off running. It's not like you're going to stop and stretch. You're going to be fine. You don't have to sit there and go through like a 5-10 minute stretching routine. You see this in animals. I see it with my cat Roxy. She wakes up, she does her little stretches, and then, she's on with her day. If she sees a gecko, boom, she's going to go at that gecko. That's probably a bad example, but anyway, my point is it's okay. It's okay to do activity without actually stretching. Another thing is you don't have to stretch everything, or you don't have to stretch both sides of your body. If you have pain or you know that a certain muscle's tight, it's okay. You can stretch that one side. You don't have to stretch the other side, because I hear people say a lot, I got to balance out, I got to balance out. But the thing is that injury or that tight muscle is on that side. So the thing is, if you're stretching the other side, you can be imbalancing that other side. An analogy I'll use is, let's say on your car, your front left tire is running low on air. So you go in, you check it, it says 25 PSI. You know it needs to be at 35. So you put 10 PSI in there, right? 10 whatever air in there to bring it up to 35. But then you go to all your tires and you do that. But the other tires didn't have a problem. Now they're overinflated. So if you look at tires, they can be overinflated or they can be underinflated. The same thing is true with muscles. They can be too lengthened or they can be too short. That's called the length-tension relationship. So just be smart about your stretches. Just know it's okay to stretch one side. If you're tight on one side or if you're injured on one side, just go ahead and stretch that one side. You don't need to do both sides. And it's okay to do a workout without stretching. It's not the end of the world. Again, I'll say it, contradict myself. I do think that stretching is underrated at the same time, but at the same time too, it's overrated. This video probably doesn't make any sense. But anyway, God bless you all. Peace.